Hello, my friends. How are y'all doing? Can everybody hear me okay? I hope everybody can hear. My setup was not wanting to work today. Somebody let me know if you can hear me talking. Hello, hello, hello. Anybody there? Okay, yes, good. Sorry, I was having a heck of a time getting everything set up and I got so flustered I just walked away. But I'm back. So, how's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate everybody that is here. Y'all like my baseballs in the background? It is all-star time. I got one all-star in baseball and one in softball, so we are in the mode. Thank you all. Let's see. Hello, Heather. How you doing? Hey, Blue Eyes. TJ. Hey, Lori. So good to have y'all. Hi, Patty and YouTuber. Welcome, welcome. Legally Blonde, my friend. How are you doing? In the bushes. Let's see. Hi, Bobby. How are you? Miss Charlene, glad you can make it. We got show poodles coming in from the Gulf Coast at a cool 68 degrees. What? Lord help us. Y'all, it is 93 degrees right now. Goodness, I wish we were at 68. Let's see. Hi, Kathleen and Teresa. Good to have y'all. And we got Laura W. Come on in. Friends in low places. I would get struck down for that one for sure. Let's see. Deanna. Hey there. Deanna Downey. Deanna Sanchez. Welcome, both of y'all. We got some, let's see. Yep. Jacqueline, good to have you. So good you're here. Hi, Sharon and Laura. Hello, hello. Polly, yes. So good you're here. Just Jana. Hello to you, beautiful. Well, welcome everybody. It's chilly in Ohio. Girl, we would have a heat stroke if we turned on our heat. I got the air down on 62 up here. This room upstairs has no insulation whatsoever. It's crazy. But I got my AC down as low as it can go. TJ says the warmer the better so I can get on my boat. I'm ready to hit the lake myself. My best friend is coming to town this weekend. I'm so excited. And she had knee surgery a little while back. If she doesn't have to rush back home, I think we're hitting the lake and taking that boat and launching it. I'm so ready. Getting on a boat is good therapy, y'all. Good, good therapy. So, well, thank you all for being here. No, we'll just stay there. We'll just stay in our little compound. Now, we do get in trouble on the golf cart sometimes, but it is what it is. We'll be good. But thank you all for the ones who got to join us again last night. I appreciate everybody for that. That was a really awesome time, I should say. Very enlightening. Very, very. Um, we had some callers call in last night. And speaking of calls, I'm going to play something for y'all. I don't know if everybody has heard it or not. I'm just going to play it, let y'all hear it, because there's really nothing to watch. But Laura, it is 59 in Virginia. My goodness. And rainy. Oh, you got to deal with the rain, though. Goodness. I wish, of course, we live in Texas. We skip over half the winter and we skip over most of the springtime. But I wished it would just stay in the 70s and the 50s at night for a long time. You think Lee was hitting on me last night? It's 102 in Arizona. My goodness, M&J, better you better stay inside. Y'all have a dry heat. Where I'm at, we have a humid heat. Oh, and I walked outside to go to church Sunday morning. It might as well have been raining because, the humidity was horrible. So, hello, Grammy coming in. Texas Plain Jane. Welcome. And hello, MNJ. Well, goodness. 50s in New York. Y'all are making me jealous. Y'all, I'm not joking. It's 93. 93. Thoughts on that call? Who could it have actually been? That would be my thought. Oh, I bet, Laura. Reality. Hello, beautiful. How are you? Yeah. I need to. Northwest Florida's 86. Yes, Holly. Yes. Well, we're going to listen to another call. I don't know if y'all have heard Hindsight's post, but you'll have to go listen. It's the ones from last night. So you can go back and listen to it on the live. It was the same title as yesterday, but it says again because we kind of continued. But Hindsight put out one that kind of goes along with our call last night, where it really makes you wonder, who might this be that's actually calling in and talking? Let me get this pulled up here real quick. Okay. Let me turn my phone up here real quick. Okay. All righty, here we go.
But with Sebastian, I just want.
Okay. This was on Clues last night. In Hindsight put this out.
Oh.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm amazing.
Listen, well, I'm okay, but with everything that's going on, with everybody that's going missing and come up dead, it's terrible. I mean, I don't know what this world's coming to. You know what I mean?
I do.
But with Sebastian, I just wanted to say, I want everybody to keep this faith because you remember Elizabeth Smart, how long it took her to actually get back home, and Smart is an actual, I want euphemism. Let's say, not only is her last name Smart, she was a very smart person, and she was manipulated into whatever.
I believe so, Legally Blonde. I honestly do. If you listen to the rhetoric, the cadence, and some of the characteristics of the sound, it's very obvious who it is. But listen to his words.
she was manipulated into to stay gone and undercover as long as she was. And she was under everybody's eye. She was right there.
Yeah.
She could have turned left at any time and said, "Hey, look, mister, I'm Elizabeth Smart."
Yeah.
She didn't. Now, take it one step farther, and with somebody that's got, autism and isn't as smart as Elizabeth Smart was, they can be manipulated.
Okay. That right there, I gotta pause it, guys, just to be fair. And let me put my copyright out while I'm here. I do think Sebastian is smart enough to say, "Hey, my name is Sebastian Rogers, and I don't belong here." So, yeah. I mean, this is almost too obvious. It's just almost funny. It's too obvious that he makes it sound like Sebastian's not even intelligent enough to say, "Hey, I'm Sebastian Rogers. I don't belong here." He's not that intelligent, according to this person. Yes, just Jana, a sarcastic jab. Yes. Let's listen some more.
Even farther and faster, and
Myrna. Thank you,
that
Myrna.
is what that is. I don't hope for that, but that's my eternal my instead of thinking that something bad has happened or he's deceased, I'd like to think every time I think of that about Elizabeth Smart and she came back.
I agree. I think that, I would.
And that is what I would like everybody to think, that he is coming back, that he is out there somewhere, and that he's just hiding. I don't mean just hiding on his own.
Right.
But
yeah, definitely so, YouTuber, definitely so. And if you notice how Clue is handling this one particular phone call, it makes it kind of obvious. It really does. Yes, exactly.
hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
So
like someone.
everybody needs keep your eyes peeled. I mean, report everything. And if you even think that you see him, go up to him and just ask him, "What's your name?"
Yeah.
What's your name and where's your parents? Even if they're standing next to what you think would be parents, what's your name?
Yep.
Let's bring this boy home.
That's true. If you see something, say something.
Right away. Don't wait till you get home. Don't wait till the people drive away.
Jana.
Yeah.
Say something right then and there. Ask him, "What's your name?" Or ask him, "Is your name Sebastian?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I just when people go missing from their homes, from their rooms, from behind a locked door, I would like to think that some other thing could be behind that.
Right.
So right away, I don't think of somebody as deceased or something bad, but it could happen. So,
I agree.
and I think there should be a lot more questions asked by everybody that knows these people, and just keep asking these people, with other questions like, what room did you sleep in, and what room did he sleep in, and how far apart were these two rooms? I mean, it's like the Idaho 4. How did this all happen? And you guys slept through it 8 hours later. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And Idaho 4.
No. And even like Seth, did he have possibly a key to their house? Yeah, I can't put things past anybody these days.
Oh, I agree.
Maybe he came, took him. He's got him hiding away, and this is all a cover for himself, just to maybe get her in trouble or him in trouble. And
Okay, let's victimize the victim. Typical. Very, very typical for some we know. Let's put it on him to get his mother in trouble. Lord help us all.
and then all of a sudden, oh, we found him.
Yeah.
What's he doing here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I felt the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, there could be anything but you just don't go one day, get up
Yes, I have.
and leave.
I have catfish.
Because the mindset of Sebastian would not have. I don't have a child myself, but my ex-wife has an autistic child. She's fixing to turn 18. I don't think in their mind that they would have just walked away, and not said something.
Well, I mean, I'd like to think that
Yes,
too, but then
Deanna.
we
Yes.
literally had that case like last week where a 17-year-old kid with autism walked away barefoot in the middle of the night from his house.
Yes.
And they found him. Now they did find him, but he did leave in the middle of the night barefoot, just like Sebastian. So I mean, it's almost like, yeah, that does happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'd like to think that something more along the lines of Elizabeth Smart, whether it be a stranger, whether it be a relative, whether it be a friend.
Oh, really?
And
a relative or a friend?
They come up later, and okay.
Okay.
Right.
Something wakes them up inside and says, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I shouldn't be where I'm at. Where's my people? You know? And just something needs to trigger that, with just like Elizabeth Smart. Something triggered that. Somebody took the initiative to go,
yes, Bobby.
Are you?
I think so.
And look how long she was missing. Look how long she was hidden away. And she was even hidden away in plain sight. So anything's possible. Anything's possible. So, keep the faith, keep them in your prayers. If you see something, say something, and say it right away.
Boom, TJ.
Agreed.
Yes.
And that's about all I got to say.
And like someone else suggested, right? You think you see him, take a photo.
Yeah, I mean, just ask if you're, what is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought how many times have you had somebody say, are you Susie? Or mistaking you for somebody. I've had people actually come up to me and start talking to me, and I'm like, who are you? And they go, oh my God, now that I see it, you're not that person. No, I'm not, but,
I agree,
and,
Bobby.
they'd apologize. So, all you got to do is say, I'm sorry. And I'm sure in the area, wherever, people they're not going to hold it against you. They're not going to think you're weird.
Not at all.
You're trying to get someone's child back to them.
Oh, no.
But
no.
That's about it.
No big
That's
deal.
about all I got to say.
Well, thank you for calling.
Yeah, so then there's that, guys. Nobody's going to think anything bad. I mean, you got their child back to them. Come on now. Come on. Let's be real here. Good golly, Miss Molly, give me a break. Yes. Reach for the sky, yes. So now we're supposed to all play this game with them. Well, I'll tell you what, we're reaching out. Trust me, folks, we're reaching out. Boom, reality. Yes, 100%. She wouldn't be that nice to just anybody calling in. She'd be questioning stuff. Cinderella. Wait, let me get this. There it is. Tugs on a heartstring. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness, y'all. I wanted to play that because, our interesting caller we had last night. And then I heard that. I thought, my gosh, my gosh. Now, I want everybody to put a 1 in chat if you have heard Katie or Christopher himself say, you never know. He may walk back in that door once he turns 18. Something along the lines of him coming back in through their front door when he turns 18. If you have heard that, put a 1. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yep. Katie said it. Yep. She said it on the 1 year anniversary interview she did. Okay. I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Because, we don't all listen to everything the same. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that at one point, Katie said, you never know, when he's 18, he might come walking through that door. That's huge. If Sebastian is still alive and out there somewhere, folks, like I told you with the ARC facility in Pennsylvania, when they turn 18, they are released. There are places that when you're 18, you get released. And for her to say the age of 18, and Chris said it one time as well. It was earlier on. He said when he's 18, he may show up one day. We don't know. But yes, I agree, Blue Eyes. That child may be found any day now. And if they honestly believe the heat's off of them, they are dead wrong. They are dead wrong on that one. Oh, okay. Dee Marie, on her interview, she does. I'm trying to think of which one it is. One of either the one she did alone or the one she did with Christopher for the 1 year they did those interviews. She says it there. I know for a fact. And he said it early on. Oh my goodness. I really do hope he's found, Oh, that would be amazing for him to be found. And I have a feeling a lot of people, if he was to be found today, there's going to be a lot of people that are upset from the other side because I do not believe he will go back to Katie and Chris's house at all. I think his father has heard enough and has enough proof in his hands. That child does not need to be in their care. They want to be child free. I say let them be child free for the rest of their lives. That's my opinion, guys. Totally. So, yeah, they will. They will. I mean, they've already victimized him, saying that he is a predator and he was doing inappropriate things to Chris's daughter. Those are words that have been said on the other side over there. And this guy here, he just turned Sebastian into, a bad person. Why are you going to do that? Why are you going to put out the possibility that Sebastian did this on purpose to get his mother in trouble? Guys, if that was the case, he would have called his dad and said, "Take me now, please." I really think that. I feel that because he could call his dad at any time he wanted. Oh my gosh, TJ, I just saw your picture you sent to me. That was funny. Anyways, so yeah, that's just my opinion. We today we got our title, creating a timeline. And this is something that I got my notepad ready to go. I think Blue, she's got hers ready to go as well. And together, we want everybody's input to make sure we're all correct on our timing and events and happenings. Deanna, thank you for being a member for 3 months. She says, Lolly, thank you for continuing to cover Sebastian. You are so welcome. And thank you for being a member for 3 months. Love having you here. Thank you. Thank you. And guys, if you would like to help the channel and become a member, we would love to have you. All the good things, hit the like, subscribe, all those things. We would love to have you on board. But to start a timeline, I think we should start at Texas Roadhouse. We knew that he was there, and we saw with our very own eyes. Sebastian left Texas Roadhouse at 6:26 p.m. Okay. Erna, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you for that. Let's get you a little happy dance. Thank you, Erna. That is so sweet. Blue Eyes, did you want to come up? You can come up if you want to. But we know that he left. We saw him driving away with his mother. And that time clock was showing 6:26. They came walking out at 6:23. Took them 3 minutes to do whatever with Green Hoodie, get into the car, back up. And as they're leaving, we're at 6:26 p.m. Oh, that's funny, TJ. TJ just want to hear that sexy voice. Now, from there, we have to remember there is supposedly the stop that was made at the convenience store at 6:37. Took them about 10 minutes to get there, to stop at that store. They were only stopped for a short amount of time. Katie talked to the person in the car beside them and then left and went home. There's not a time that they arrived home that we've been told exactly. But we do know at 7:15, the trash, and supposedly Sebastian was the one that took the trash to the end of the driveway. They say it was Sebastian. They can see a copy of it. I wonder too, me and you. I have only heard that, but I've never heard anybody from law enforcement confirm that. And I've never seen any footage at all. So I don't know. Blue, I dropped the link if you wanted to come up. You're welcome to. You don't have to. But so if he made it home, I could see him being the one to take the trash out. We know Katie said that he changed clothes and got ready for bed. That's when he had on a long sleeve black shirt, t-shirt. Christopher himself has stated not a sweatshirt and not a hoodie. So at what time would Sebastian have had a hoodie on? Because he was in a short sleeve shirt from Texas Roadhouse. And from the time they got home, he didn't get out of the car and go straight in, get the trash and take it out. It was about 15 minutes later, 10 to 15 minutes later. So when did he have a black hoodie on? Is my question, because Katie Prophet herself at the Texas Roadhouse had a black hoodie on. She had the same color shoes he had. I question the trash. I think they had a scent of Sebastian down the driveway. That was all. But it was a daily routine for school for him to go to the end of the driveway, sometimes catch the bus, sometimes she took him. So someone took out the trash, and I'm not comfortable enough to say it was Sebastian. But we know at 7:15 the trash was taken out. The next timeline we get is 9 o'clock. Does anybody remember anything before 9 o'clock when he got ready and got to bed, went to bed? He said he was in his room playing. That's all she said. There wasn't a timeline there. Hey Lee, how you doing? Okay, nothing else from there. Okay, so 9 o'clock we know he went to bed. Yeah, just playing in his room. From the time they got home, he was just, she said, playing in his room. And then 9 o'clock, he goes to bed. Now, this is where things start to get a little fishy. Because at one time she says it was 10 o'clock she heard a noise. One time she said it was 10:30 that she heard the noise. Yes. Right. We don't know what he did from the time they got home till he went to bed. The only thing she has told us is he was in his room playing. So that's all we know. And then he goes to bed at 9 o'clock. Yep. 9. She gets on the phone with CP around 9. Was it like around 9:30 or something? Because that's what I had. Oh, gotcha, Lee. Yeah. So was it earlier than 9:30 when they got on the phone? Anybody know? 9:36, Bobby says. Okay. Yeah, there you go. 9:36. Because he was very precise about that time. You're right. So about 10, one time she says 10, one time she says 2. Um, one time she says 10, one time she says 10:30 is the noise coming from the room. 9:43, 9:46. Okay. Let me get that down. Okay. Hey, everybody coming in. Thank y'all all for being here. Big hugs to everybody. We are just trying to go through and create this timeline. Yes. Yes, Blue Eyes. Yeah. This is where everything gets discombobulated because it all gets out of whack. And we can't make a true timeline because one time she hears the noise at, what does she say, at 9:30. One time she hears the noise at 10. One time was at closer to 10:30. Yes. She's falling asleep on the phone. There was a shadow at the dining room window around 11:30. You are correct, Town Chat. You are correct. Let me put that down. Shadow, dining room. Good deal. Okay. So this is her versions. The first time she said she was on the phone to midnight, right? This was the first original version. She talked to Chris till about midnight and KK went to bed. Then she says, "Hey, brown eyed girls, I want you to know we love you so much. I'm sending you a super big hug, girlfriend." Shared the thud at 10. She tells, I think Nancy Grace was around 10:30. Holly, there we go, Holly. That explains it all. That would make sense, right? So at one time she said she was on the phone talking to Chris till midnight. There's been a time where she said she went to bed about 11:30. And there's another time where at 10:30 Chris said she was falling asleep. Another time on Nancy Grace, KK was studying the whole time. Yes, yes. You're right, Deanna. Those floodlights. Right, blue eyes. And I got that on my list. Oh yeah. Exactly, D Marie. Exactly. What I'm saying. That's how hard it is to put all this down on paper. Because right now we have KK doing four things at the same exact time. She's talking on the phone, she's gone to bed, she's fallen asleep on the couch, and she's on the couch studying the whole time. So, how do you make that make sense? It's frustrating. It is very frustrating. And right, Sharon, I feel it's BS too. I think, and that's why I said the daytime they wake up, she makes a fun breakfast, she makes spaghetti pancakes, they video call family because he likes to brag to them about it. They go pick up their niece, they go meet family at BJ's, they come home or something. I don't know what all else they did that day, and all those things continue to be the same. All those things actually happen, and none of that has changed. Lee, you might be right, Lee. I don't know. I don't know. Like 60 time on the phone. Exactly, D. Marie. That's the way I feel exactly. I have a brain and common sense, and it's not making any sense. And that's the frustrating part. And so that night, after they got home, until she goes to wake him up, we can't say what really happened because we've had so many different versions. Now, she goes to bed at midnight, 11:30, whatever he's telling her to go to bed, turn off the lights, put the dogs away. What time that happens, I don't know. Hey, Bridget. So she's turning off lights. She's making sure doors are locked, right? He said they knew the doors were locked, and she's putting puppies up. Now, whenever that time is, it's hard to say. Because we don't know if it's midnight. We don't know if it's 11:30. We don't know if it's around 11, 10:30, or 11, because it was like she was falling asleep about 10:30, and not long after that she went to bed. So that'd be closer to 11:30ish. Now, after that whole scenario, the next thing we know that is fact is 3:10 a.m. and there's live action from their backyard. So we have the live video. And it's hard to say exactly how long that whole thing took place because we don't have but just 30 seconds of that video. Now, was there action happening prior to it? I don't know. We can't say for sure. But around 3:10 a.m., we know there's something happening with lights outside. So, anything else y'all can think of that we've missed up until 3 a.m.? Nothing so far. Oh, yeah, Brown Eyes wasn't there last night for the call in. Yeah. Sharon, not that we can confirm. Law enforcement says they believe he made it home because of a digital recording of some form. Okay, Mama. So that's where we're at now. So 6 a.m., Sebastian's missing. Deanna, where are you at? Here, let me find you. Then on American Horror, didn't she change her bedtime? Yeah, she put it at 11. I think it was the article. I think it was a Dateline article. So, yeah, Erna, 3:15 or 3:10 there is when those lights happen. And then from there, 6 o'clock, she wakes up, goes to wake him up. He's missing. Now, this is where things gets tricky again. She tells us she searched, and we're giving her 1 minute to go from her room to Sebastian's room. That's 1 minute. She searched for 1 whole minute. That's makes it total of 2 minutes. And then at 6:03, she said she's on the phone with Chris in her car driving around looking for him. That's 6:03. So he's missing. She searched around the house. 6:03, she's dressed in her car on her phone with Christopher. All of that, folks, in 3 minutes. Does that not make anybody say, whoa, wait a minute? Because she says she woke up, she went straight to get Sebastian. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, Kaz. So the problem here, and she says, then he called, three-way call. But as Kaz just said, it was at 6:36 a.m. when that call was dispatched. They don't dispatch until they have the call happening. It's all at the same time. And folks, you got to remember, it was, let me see if I can find it exactly, 6:22, I think it was. At 6:22, Mr. Chris sent a text to Seth. So we're talking 22. That is before the call to Ellie. So why would he text saying, call me, before they ever called law enforcement at all? They knew he was at work. They knew Seth was at work. If they needed to ask him, is Sebastian with you or have you heard from him? Folks, they would have called the emergency number to get a hold of him right then and there, but they didn't. Send a text, 911, call. So they weren't calling or trying to get in touch with Seth to find out, and they have still yet, from what I understand, they've still yet to ask Seth, have you talked to Sebastian? Do you know where he might be? That conversation did not happen. Why? In my opinion, that's a huge red flag. Huge. The other place Sebastian goes to, you don't ask that person, his father, hey, has he called you? Has he said anything about leaving or running away or anything like that? They did not ask none of that. But folks, in my opinion, I believe that's because they knew exactly where he was. They did not need to ask that question. I agree, Holly. I agree completely. So from there, we show at 6:31. Here we go. Just to verify, let's go. Let me get it pulled up. This is Katie driving down Kellen looking for her child at 6:32. Okay, 6:32. She's driving down Kellen with her windows up, going very fast. And look at the time. We just wrote down 6:36 is when the call to law enforcement happened. They hadn't even at this point called LE to report him missing. Folks, where did that 29 minutes go? What happened to that time? What happened during that time? Because here's 30 seconds later, 31 seconds later. She's coming back up, Kellen. Window's still up, still not calling out the window for her child. And it's still prior to the dispatch call. So how, what are we supposed to believe? Yeah, K-Mac. Poof. Just like Houdini. He always wanted to be a ninja, and he has succeeded. Now, answer me this, folks. With this screwed up timeline that we just went over, this timeline that does not make any sense whatsoever. If this is the timeline and the timing of all of it that they gave the police, if this is what they told law enforcement, there's a problem. There's a problem, big time problem. This timeline doesn't match up to everything they've told us because of the digital footprint that's out there. Those things that they can't get past because, like on Kellen Drive, here she is. 31 seconds it took her to go down, make the turn, and come all the way back up. 31 seconds. Not one window down. Her head is facing straight out. You can see that clear as day. She was not looking for her child. She was driving to be seen. That's obvious to me. Now, I don't know how to take the timeline from here because when it came time for them coming home from Texas Roadhouse, everything was all screwed up. I agree with K-Mac on this one. She was playing a part in the alleged script. Right. Texas Plain Jane. She was not in a panic whatsoever. Yes, Dee Marie. Like Dee Marie just said, the use of jammers has already been called into play. That was Katie's specialty in the Navy. And don't forget Crabtree, who lives around there. His mother and Mr. Chris's mommy are best friends, are very close friends. I don't know about the bestie part, but they are very, very good friends. And Crabtree knows all about those Verizon towers and how to manipulate them. Ask Stephen Fisher. He put that out. He put that out already. Let me read it for y'all just to make sure I got it all current here. Let me find that post. Oh, those evil cowards like BHB, Tony, and others cost Stephen his business. But his unbelievable knowledge of cell towers and tower data is going to be the reason we recover the person that's been missing 10 years. What did those that reported him have to be proud of? He added. His uncanny knowledge of cell phone towers and stuff. I'm sure he knew how to manipulate that as well. Yes, I think she does. I think very well, Lee, that she could have had access to that and it would have been very easy to do. There were cameras that were actually completely fried. They had to replace them. I know, right? Crabtree was into data stealing at the time. You know, silly for those that want to report that. Oh, yeah. Maybe came back. Maybe she didn't know. But I know with her job with Brinks and everything, I'm sure she has had access for that knowledge. Yeah, K-Mac. Me too. Me too. You know, it's this is something that I've wanted to sit down, put on paper for a long, long time. Every time I do, I'm like, How do I do this? How do I do the time he left Roadhouse when we saw him till the time he was reported missing? How do you even put that on paper? Because it is so jumbled up, so messed up, inaccurate. There's proof saying she wasn't where she said she was. And now we've got this whole nother version with the timeline from when she did the Dateline article. Now she stopped and talked to a woman walking her dog. And so, when does that come into play? And it's very frustrating. And this is the reason I question Katie and the reason I question Chris. Folks, as a mother who's been through a very, very traumatic event, ask me who was at my child's funeral. I may or may not be able to tell you if you were or were not there. But those last minutes I had with my son, those last, down to the very, very last time he called that evening, the last time he came to my work that day, 2 hours before his life was taken, I remember every tiny detail. It never has changed. That is something that you lock within inside yourself and hold on to and treasure that memory of those minutes down to the seconds that you had with them last. That's why, in my opinion, I don't believe Katie has told us the truth. Yes, it is, TJ. It is seared in your brain. Exactly. It's been 5 years, and I can tell you what time he showed up at my work prior to heading out. I can tell you what time he drove away. And I can tell you when he reached out that window, turned around and waved back and said, "I love you, Mom," just before he went around the corner. I can tell you all of it. But Katie can't. You know? And that's where I have to just stop and call BS. Because, like I said, she can tell us everything that happened during the day. Oh, I love you, Legally Blonde. Thank you for that hug. But everything from the day just rattles off like no big deal. She did have to look at Chris to get approval that it was the niece that her and Sebastian had gone to pick up. He wasn't even there, but she had to get that, make sure that was in the timeline right. That's what it looks like. That's what we see when we watch them. She's telling the story. Fun fact, making breakfast. She usually doesn't make breakfast. I get that. I was not a breakfast maker. I would make breakfast for dinner sometimes. But, oh, Erna, thank you so much. That is so sweet of you. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Y'all, it's part of my story. It's part of me. And even if Katie doesn't know if her son is alive or not, having that last moment with him, she would have that locked away. I'm telling you, she would have it. She knows it. But are we hearing it? Is it one of the stories that we've heard? That's my question. Lori says, I'm not a breakfast maker either. Yeah, I'm not a morning person, y'all. Oh, Lady for Justice, I love y'all so much. I'm so grateful to have you guys here as my friends, my family. Yeah, Jennifer, I wonder if she didn't have that connection with Sebastian. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that Katie is his mother, gave birth to that child. There has to be some form of a connection, I would think. I can't possibly imagine life without connecting to my children. Lady for Justice, thank you for that so much. You are so sweet. Love you so much for that. Thank you, Lady for Justice. So I'm not sure if Katie has told us the God's honest truth, or if she's just telling a story. You know, did they take Sebastian, hand him off to someone? Has he been taken to a facility? Is that possible? Like this caller said, maybe he'll come home at 18. Just Jana, thank you so much for that. That is so sweet. Here's you a happy. Thank you, Just Jana. Yes, Jennifer. Oh my gosh, me and my kids, we go eat somewhere. There's laughing, there's cutting up, there's storytelling. Do you remember this? It's always memory lane with my kids when we all get together. And then they start telling stories that they think I didn't know about. And they're like, okay, Mom, we're going to tell you the truth. And I always bust their bubble by telling them what really happened. And they're like, you knew? But that's what we do. Not everybody does stuff like that. I get that. But there was not much of a connection at that dinner table, was there? Yes, yes, yes. And this right here, folks, I think is what it all boils down to. They could not risk Sebastian telling all the dirty secrets. Everything that happened in that home, whether it was CPS reports or whatever it may have been. I believe that 100%. Oh, thank you, Betty. Thank you. I have a huge piece of my heart just broken. But because of my other two and my 4 grandbabies, I have found the way to keep moving. Yeah, K-Mac, I would love to have one of those teachers talk to us. I would love to. Yeah, just Jana, I agree. That home in Gallatin where they wanted to send him, where 6 kids had passed away. Yes, legally bond. Just one more dinner with them. Yeah. I'm telling you, folks, every day is a treasure. Yes, Lee, you are correct. And let me tell you, that has caused a huge divide with her and her son. And that is a hard thing for her to watch happening right now in front of her and listen to. It's a hard thing for her to live with. You know, he asked her, Sebastian asked her not to say anything, and she wanted him to be able to call and talk to her about everything. That's where that line comes in, that do you cross it or do you not? And my granddaughter was going to tell me a secret one day, and she said, never mind, you'll have to tell my dad. And I told her, you can tell me anything. I will not repeat it unless it could cause harm to you. I know she has told law enforcement. Yes. Thank you, Legally Blonde. They're just juvenile prisons. Gotcha, Miss Kathy. You know, no, she did not make CPS reports. Yes, that's when that line has to be crossed. And I will not attack her for that. I will not even say anything bad to her. I know that that lady is living her own nightmare right now. And I would never make that a point of attack. That is not something to do. You know, this is my big question here. Ellie knows about the CPS cases. Seth has them. He has a copy of them. He is not supposed to be telling anyone about them or disclosing what's in them. Okay. It's very sensitive information, but law enforcement does know. So why has it been okay for that abuse to to just be there? Even though Sebastian's not there, they do get his daughter. So what's to say that's not going to happen to her while she's in their home? Oh, girl, you be careful. You take care of yourself, girl. Lady for Justice, it could be more than just DV. I don't know. I don't know all the in depth part of it. I know there were 5 different occasions CPS was reported to, and the case was created. 5 different ones, not one with 5 separate things listed. I have mad respect for it, I tell you. But, we have other creators that like to say there's one case that has 5 different things listed. No, there are 5 separate cases. Now, don't forget there's one case that is open that Seth does not have a copy of because it is still open. So I don't understand how that all of a sudden becomes okay. I don't understand how it's all right to leave alone when there's a child that continues to come into their home. Although none of the cases were against her, it happened in that home with those two. Because it's not just Christopher. It was Katie too. You got to remember that. So that's where my question comes in. Why is it okay to just let it be when there's another child that could one day be affected by that as well? And that's something that's just, you've got to put it out there. Oh, I bet Legally Blonde, I bet. I could just imagine. And I really question, is that last one, the one that happened at the end of January, the reason Mr. Chris was not in that home during February? You have to stop and think about that. And Katie and Chris put it off as he worked away from home. It was a 3-hour drive. No way could he come home and go back to work the next morning. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, my ex did that exact 3 hour, not that exact 3-hour drive, but that exact time of driving every day there and back so that he could be home at night and tuck the kids into bed, eat dinner, tell them good night, tuck them into bed when they were little, and even up until they were right about close to teenage years. He did that because we made the choice not to live in the city. We're country folks. We liked our small town. We didn't want to move the kids to the city. And he got a job in the office. We talked about getting him an apartment there. He wanted to be home at night. And he did that for 3 years, folks. It is possible. It is very, very possible. But I wonder if that's the excuse used to explain away why he was not home during that month of February. So I don't know. Like I said, I can question things off of what my experience is. And I have questions. I got lots of questions. It is. It's a lot of driving, that's for sure. But I tell you what, he did it for 3 years. So it is possible if it's wanted and well worth it. And you can ask him today, and he would tell you today, straight up, it was worth every mile traveled. Yes, K-Mac, he was at the school meeting. Yes, the teacher said she felt bad for Seth because of the way Katie and Chris talked to Seth. Seth was there as well. Y'all got to remember, There's people that are not liking Seth and attacking Seth or whatever they feel about with Seth. You have to give the man props. He moved from California to Tennessee. He had no friends in Tennessee. He had no family in Tennessee. He had nothing, knew no one, nothing. But that's where his child was. He he found a place within driving distance so that he can create a new life so that he could get his son. There's not a lot of people that would do that. That would be an airplane ride for that child. But Seth wanted his son. He wanted part of his life. He wanted to be there every chance he could get. Yeah, wait, what? It's just so many times I look at it and it's so obvious, just like you're saying. And to me, for me to explain why I would say that is there is light activity happening in their backyard. There is a light at their backyard. Another light goes towards that light. That light comes out, meets up. They walk to a waiting car that turns the car on, starts the car. You see headlights, you see taillights come on instantly. You know that car just started. One light goes quickly back to their backyard. And they're not concerned about any of that because that's a trash truck light. Give me a break. That is not a trash truck. I have a little more common sense to know trash truck lights do not separate and go off into two different directions. They don't separate off the truck and go through the common space, but in the backyards. But all of that happens in their backyard and they want you to think it's a trash truck. They do not question it, but they're going to question a little old man walking his dog. Gotcha, Blue Eyes. Yes, yes, yes. I saw this yesterday. I'm glad you sent this to me. I couldn't find where it was. Guys, this is what I was talking about last night. A group of Tennessee foster children is suing the state in a class action lawsuit, which claims the Department of Children's Services fails the children it's supposed to protect. 13 children currently in foster care ages 1 to 16 filed the lawsuit on behalf of more than 9,000 children in Tennessee foster care system. That's some serious, serious allegations. And after I read through that, folks, I realized there had already been a lawsuit against the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. There already had been one. And they had improved. Everything was doing well while they were being looked over and supervised by others. Once they felt everything was running smoothly and changes were happening in 2017, it all started back downhill. So, amen to this prayer. Lord, please bless Seth with your comfort while he navigates this earthly hell. Guide anyone to where Sebastian may be. In your name, amen. Thank you for that, Lady for Justice. So, yeah, they wait, what? There supposedly is that stop when they left Texas Roadhouse. And I want to say it's at a B&G. I don't know what that is, but a B&G or something like that. It's a convenience store. He has been around. He was in Brittany's chat last night. Yeah. They need to really seriously look into all of that. There's one girl that was sent to another county, a whole different county. And then from there, she was sent to another state because they didn't have room for her. All the while being in the Department of Children's Services of Tennessee. Oh, yeah. I agree with you here for the truth. I'm telling you, surely they're smart enough. That trash truck story just kills me. Now, I will say this. They were all shown a video of and was told it was the trash truck. Whether it was a video of the trash truck or whether it was video of those lights, I don't know. I can't say either one, but I do know this. They stuck with that trash truck as being the God's honest truth. That's what it is. You're stupid if you believe it's not, kind of thing. That was not a trash truck. Trash truck has massive amounts of lights all over it, and they're blinking and they're flashing, and all the things are happening. It's not two separate lights happening. I don't believe anything has happened to Seth, guys. I think Seth is very broken. Very, very broken. The threats are real that are happening out there. People are getting threats just talking about Sebastian. A lot of people have stopped talking about him. Chris was told to stay away from the residents. Sunday, Sebastian heard Chris and told Chris that Monday he was going to tell his teacher, and then it was on. I have often wondered that exact same thing, Lee. I mean, Legally Blonde. I have. I have wondered if it's possible after Texas Roadhouse, they got home. Possibly Chris was there and said something about telling his teacher the next day. I've wondered that myself. But yes, I would definitely pray for Seth because, guys, when I show you this picture, I show it for a reason. You see him, he's broken. His eyes tell a story. The swelling tells a story. I'm telling you, folks, my eyes were the exact same way, maybe even worse. There were mornings where I could not open my eyes. They were so swollen from the tears that had been cried. It was to the point where a friend of mine told me to try Preparation H. Get some, put it on your eyelids. And I had to. His eyes tell that story. This man knows nothing about his child. If you don't like him, you don't like him. That's great. But I'm telling you, this is not a father who knows where his child is. I know that look. I know it, unfortunately, way too well. Katie's look, I don't know. To me, she either knows where her son is and she's okay because he's all right, or she really could care less. I don't know. No clue on that one. Yeah, Tracy. Yeah. Yes, it does, doesn't it, Polly? She looks like she sleeps well. Yes, she does. And smiling. And I'm telling you, even when she's dripping a tear, her eyes are not swollen. A mother who loses a child. Yes, exactly, Holly. He probably very much does wake up and tears are everywhere. You wake up crying. I'm telling you, folks, when you lose a child, whether it is unalive, that child's no more with you, or whether you don't know what happened and where your child is, it'll tear you up. There's days where you could really not even care about waking up anymore. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's what has me questioning so much. You're not going to tell the exact story to help us understand a correct timeline so that we can figure out this routine of what exactly happened and try to help. Because that's all we want to do is help with finding Sebastian by talking about what really happened. And unfortunately, we only have her words to tell us. Hello, God TV Radio. How are you? Welcome, welcome. So, Catfish, see, there again, there all those players at Texas Roadhouse makes you wonder. That's what's at the beginning. I did believe that. I did believe something happened there that possibly Chris showed up. Yeah, I remember. I remember. Yeah. But when you've put in and watched Texas Roadhouse video and you see all the people connected there and all the things, you can't help but wonder, was this really planned? Was this pre planned that this child was going away? I mean, it's just normal. You have to ask. Yes, Lee, I agree with that 100%. The hardest part is not knowing, just not knowing. And I hate to sit here and try to guess. I don't want to have to guess. I want to find out, where is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers? Hi, Della. How are you? Cinderella, you think he was sent away? It's very possible. That why Justin has stopped talking about Sebastian. Well, the threats and the hate are real. I will say that. Yes, K Mac. Yes. Oh, thank you, God TV Radio. We're just here to keep awareness out there. I mean, we are not professionals, but it helps to keep these children's name out there. Help keep their case active. Because until they're found, they're always missing. And Sebastian, he deserves better. This young man, in 14 months' time, had 5 CPS cases against him, like because of whatever was happening in that home towards him. He had to endure those just those times that were reported. So, anyone who's had to live with that deserves for their truth to be told. I agree, Cinderella. I agree. And I just pray if he is alive and they're telling him his father could care less about him, did not want him, that he knows better. And I think Sebastian is just intelligent enough to know that if he left and woke up somewhere else with some people, that would not be the working of his dad. Hey, September Rain, how are you? Right. No one deserves that kind of treatment. I mean, the guy sat here and told us Sebastian loves cats, his favorite animal in the world, and then turns around and tells us Sebastian had to get rid of his cats before he moved into the home with Sebastian and his mother. But yet he knows that's his favorite animal. He loves animals, and cats are his favorite. Then he wanted a snake. Mr. Chris didn't get one. He got 30 of them, remember? He doesn't just go out and get one. He goes big, he says. But because Sebastian didn't take care of all of them, Sebastian just wanted one. He had his snake, but because he didn't take care of all of them, they all had to go away. Mr. Chris said if his room wasn't clean enough, Sebastian had to put all his things in a trash bag and take it to the trash can. Yeah, his snake's name was Brownie. Yeah. I mean, what child deserves all that? They're called children for a reason. It's our job to teach. It's our job to make them understand. We're the grown-ups, right? He should have taken Chris out with it. Yep, for sure, for sure. I tell you, I just don't understand why it's so hard for the timeline to be created. If it happened, it happened. What happened and when? Make it all make sense. But they can't. Every time they tell a new version, a new story, there's a new version of the timeline. And yet they wonder, why do we continuously criticize each and every word and dissect it? It's not each and every word. We criticize the timeline. It's the timeline that matters. What happened when? That's what matters. Yeah, you're right, Blue Eyes. My babies would always come first. Don't make me choose. You will lose. Yes, Kaz. That's what I'm saying. She's telling us at 6:03, that woman's already dressed in her car on the phone with Mr. Chris, driving to look for her son, driving in the neighborhood to look for her son. But yet she had just woke up at 6. That don't match up. That's 3 minutes. That ain't even enough time to go pee and get dressed, let alone find out your son's missing and look the whole entire house over. It doesn't add up. Then you put her on the phone with Mr. Chris. She says he's gone, he's missing. And Mr. Chris said, whoa, hold on. Let's call right now. Let's call. And they call the sheriff. But the call didn't come in till 6:36. And it wasn't until 6:31 that Katie was seen driving down Kellen, which is the only other street in her neighborhood. And it took her only 31 seconds to drive down and drive back up. So that tells us she wasn't looking for Sebastian. She was driving to be seen. So what happened in that time frame when you're supposed to be calling and talking to law enforcement until you actually did? We know at 6:22 they sent a text to Seth, 911 call, knowing he wasn't at a place at work where he had his phone. He wouldn't have that till 7:30. So no, it doesn't make sense. And if you can't tell the truth, what else are you not telling the truth on? You can't tell the events that happened that morning. And I get the frustration, the panic, the adrenaline, all that's happening at that moment. But folks, they didn't talk to anyone other than law enforcement for 8 days. 8 days. And they didn't go to the local news, they went to YouTube to tell their story about Sebastian. So if somebody can make that make sense for me, then I might can understand all the crap they're saying. But until that day happens, it tells a story. It tells us you're lying. You're hiding something. It took you 8 days to speak when your child could be, I don't know, maybe, 10 miles down the road by then. If you would have got on the news that day, someone might have said, oh, yeah, I saw him walking over here. And he could have come on home because you would have found him. No sense of urgency, K-Mac, none whatsoever. It's insanely crazy. But yet we're not supposed to question anything that they say. Make it make sense, because it don't. It does not. So is there anything else that you guys can think of that we left out of this timeline that's been mentioned? Cinderella, what are you talking about here? Jennifer Coffin Dapper is talking about Ellie on U site. Huh? Yeah, Lori. Huh? What? Yes. All the she put the stuff on the porch when they left the first time. Yeah. There you go. K Max says that should be the title of the book or documentary those people on the other side are working on. No sense of urgency. There you go. When your child doesn't matter. Okay. I'll write that down. September rain. I will. Yes. Yes. Isn't that something? Yes, Kaz. So where does mommy socks come into play? Because at 5:45, she was seen for the first time at Worsham's. She was, which is the store between their house and his school. The school, the place that Katie was going to look at, right? They say she pulled through and left, didn't get out, didn't stop. She drove through and left. When that started being questioned, though, if you remember, that um what was I gonna say? Oh, we questioned her going to the school. Why didn't she get out of the car, shake the doors, see if the doors were unlocked, see if anybody had seen him and all that? Okay. Okay. Thanks, Blue Eyes. That was at 6:47, I think, because it was right about 10 minutes after they left. Texas Roadhouse came back. So we questioned, why didn't she get out and look around the school? Why did she not go see if anybody's there, if they saw him? So then when they do their next interview, what does she say? She drove to the school, and about the time she got to the school, Chris told her, head home, they'll be there shortly, talking about law enforcement. So she leaves and goes home. She had to explain why she was just seen driving through the parking lot and not getting out. Every time they go live and say something new, they have corrected what we've questioned in the past. So, so Jennifer's live now. Is that what y'all are saying? Yes. Wait. What? Wait. What? Agreed. KK's that person to keep her enemy closer, and contact. Yep. I agree. I think her best friend's young son would be that possible person. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to end it out here. We had a good live. I'll be back on again tomorrow about the same time. Yes. She was, well, I don't know if she had someone else in the car with her. I just know her car and she was seen in the driver's seat. I know that much. And there are 3 people that went to law enforcement and said they saw her. She was there. What was she doing 30, 40 minutes away from home at 5:45 in the morning? That was part of their script, the behind the scenes script. In my opinion, guys, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Not just the car, her too. She was in the driver's seat. Yes. So, guys, y'all have a super great evening. I will see y'all again tomorrow. Thank you for digging deep with us and trying to figure out this timeline. And I mean, what more can you say? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, until I see y'all next time, love and hugs, everybody. Bye.